second half of the Casa Bonita Denver double puts us back on the oval, and as we approach the second half of the chase, the pressure begins to rise in the Mile High City. Hi, hello, and good afternoon, race fans. Welcome back to the Denver Motorsports Park as we're here for today's coverage of Race 31 of the 2025 NR2003 Mission BBQ Cup Series season, the South Park 400, presented by Denver Mattress. Welcome everybody to today's Intercast on the North American Sim Racing Network. My name is Trey Wright. Day number 2 of our doubleheader in Denver is just about to get underway. 300 kilometers were ran yesterday and 400 miles will be ran today. And after the checkered flag falls this afternoon, we'll officially be in the second half of the chase for the Cup. The Roval was kinda some of the chasers in yesterday's Coors Banquet Denver 300K. For others, it was far from it. Campbell Marsh's lead was cut down just a little bit, but he still holds on to the chase lead going into race 5 as we take a look at the standings on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. Angel Gutierrez had a good top 10 run yesterday. He finds himself sitting second in the standings, 75 points back of Marsh. Braden Perez remains in third after a top 25 finish yesterday afternoon. Matthew Hubert rose up a spot to fourth, and he sits on the pole position in that number 23 machine. More on that in just a moment. But Riley Sampson was the big loser, however, falling down 3 spots after finishing outside of the top 30. He currently sits 163 points behind the 31 car. Bradley Ream is the final chase driver to be within a full race's worth of points behind Campbell Marsh. And for the drivers that are below him, they are going to need some good runs if they want to stay in contention, particularly the 3 drivers at the bottom of the standings, Esteban Lacer, Alex Lozano, and Carson Miller. They are each 3 races worth of points behind Campbell Marsh. They desperately need a good pair of runs if they want to set up some momentum going into the final 5-race stretch of the season. Unlike the Roval, Denver Motorsports Park's oval layout tends to be where we see a lot of chaos commence, especially now that it's been placed in the chase over the last few seasons. Last year's South Park 400 saw the race come down to fuel mileage, with Angel Gutierrez getting his first win based on fuel strategy, but we've seen several violent accidents here at Denver, and even though the banking is not allowed at only 13 degrees in the corners, it is still a very racy track with a lot of room to run, and with that lack of banking, these drivers are going to think they can enter the corners as deep as they can. In fact, they're going to shift up the racetrack, and that's where we see a lot of those violent accidents occur. We've also seen some great finishes here at the Denver Oval, and of course, with 6 races remaining in the season, everybody is still trying to scramble for a win. Today is going to be the largest indicator on who has a shot to win the title with 5 races to go once the checkered flag falls. Just like yesterday, plenty of fans have packed the grandstands in Colorado's Home for Racing, and we're getting ready to set these cars off here for race 2 with the Casa Bonita Denver double. We'll send it down trackside, get the most famous words in motorsport to kick off the South Park 400, presented by Denver Mattress.
Drivers, start your engines.
42 cars, motor to life at DMP, and for the second time this weekend, we're ready to rock and roll in Aurora. Qualifying for today's race was set based on the fastest lap times of yesterday's race on the Roval. Like we said, Matthew Hubert sits on the pole position after getting the Tag Heuer fastest lap time yesterday. 5 of Cole Sampson will start on the outside of row number 1, the second straight race. Sampson has started on the front row. Speaking of Tag Heuer number 71 Dodge of Mitchell Collins starts on the inside of row number 2. Elijah Gordon will start on the outside. And the owner of that Tag Heuer Dodge, Igor Barreto, driving the Valvoline number 13, starts the inside of your Armory Digital winner, Nathan Stapleton, rounding out the starting 6. Taking a look at all the chase drivers back in here. 6 of the 12 chase drivers starting outside of the top 35, and it's all done right in the frame from Esteban Lacer back to Riley Sampson. Going to be 36 laps around this 2.25 mile racing facility here on the oval version of the Denver Motorsports Park. Only one pit stop in order right past the end of stage number 2 of the 4 previous winners. The South Park 400, Angel Gutierrez, the only driver on the grid. 28 car, starting in the 28th spot. Chevy Silverado Pace Truck is heading down the pit lane as Matthew Hubert and the rest of the field going past the Cartman chicane. They're not going to be going through the chicane. They'll be blowing all the way around this 2 2/4 mile track. Green flag is out and away. We're live for race 5. Nearly 4 wide in the back as a couple of cars getting into the outside wall, but Matthew Hubert will lead the opening lap of the South Park 400. Cole Sampson trying to snap a 146 race winless streak, follows it in second. Looking to get his second win of the season, Mitchell Collins. Right behind them in that number 71 car as we got 3 wide back in here. And Campbell Marsh did not get a good start in that 31 car. He is going towards the Boondocks 3 by 3 wide, a couple of rows deep. Now we got 4 wide brewing as Dano Georgi got tight going through turns 3 and 4. He's able to hold on to that number 34 Boy Scouts of America Dodge. But Marsh, not the start that he wanted. He's going to fall back into the clutches of all these chase drivers back in here. We got Caleb Rose leaning on Rogel Dorn. They were able to keep it straight for now as Dorn was trying to move his way down the inside. You can see with how flat this track is, drivers think they have enough grip. Drive through the corner and send it in, but then they got to get out of the gas and not hit the blue outside retaining wall. And we're going to see a lot of drivers lose momentum, having to slow down through the corners, especially on the outside, and we're seeing that with Campbell Marsh. He has already dropped outside of the top 20, started this race in 10th, and he's under fire from the 7 of John Andrews. Marsh gets in the outside wall just a little bit. Not the start that he wanted, that Titan Fury machine. Speaking of Titan Fury, they got 2 of their cars inside the top 5 as Cole Sampson will go to the race lead in the 5. Got to go all the way back to September 11th, 2020, the last time Cole Sampson went to Gatorade Victory Lane in a wild race. At the Trenton Fairgrounds Raceway, that saw Madison Tall nearly flip into the pit area. Sampson won his second and most recent race of that season in that 5 car, and he'll go to the race lead after Matthew Hubert led the opening 3 laps of this race. Already approaching the midway point in stage number 1, which ends after laps 10 and 20. Bradley Ream making some headway in the 2 car. Trying to get around the tag healer Dodges, the Titan Fury Dodges as Toby Murphy got real loose coming out of turn 2. Last year's champion able to hold on to that Duncan Monte Carlo. Trying to get his second win of the season, won at the Boston International Raceway back in the Duncan Week of Speed. And your Armory Digital winner, Nathan Stapleton, trying to make a move underneath the Bradley Ream. Nearly got in the quarter panel as somebody got turned around in the back, and it looks like it was John Andrews. See some fresh smoke and tire marks. It doesn't look like, I think it may have been Dylan Matthews that got turned, as Matthews deep in the field. We remain green, and it's not uncommon for drivers to get turned off of the racing surface and the caution flag not to come out. That's really going to hurt Dylan Matthews. If that was the case, you'll see the replay on your screen. Oh, contact between Collins and Barretto. It's up the racetrack goes Ream. He got loose underneath the 97. Able to hold on to it for the time being. Cole Sampson trying to drive away from Hubert's 23 machine. Hubert, 1 win this season. Had 2 wins last year. As up the racetrack goes Alexander Rowe in the back of the pack. Got that win at Watkins Glen over Charlie Davenport on a last lap pass up in the Finger Lakes region of New York. Right now, running in the 2nd spot as Campbell Marsh has fallen back fairly deep in the field. He's all the way back in 24th. He's going to fall back a little bit more to not get the start he wanted, and this is what these chase drivers are going to want to see. It's Campbell Marsh struggling here on the oval. This is a very technical track. Marsh struggling on the opening stages of this stage. 3 laps to go in stage number 1. Fortunately for him, nobody around him besides Hubert. He's running towards the front end, but again, Matthew Hubert had 135 points between himself and Marsh. And that lead is going to fade away by quite a bit, especially with these stage points Hubert is likely going to get here in 2 laps. He might lose one point to Logan Alexander. Goes to the inside of that Zevia Ford Fusion. A couple of Fords running side by side, trying to track down a Chevrolet. Cole Sampson, the only Appleseed Racing car that does not have a win yet in 2025. Keegan Thompson's got one. His younger brother Riley is currently towards the tail end of the field as well, in 35th the last time by. 2 wins under the 24 car's belt. And Cole has unfortunately been the black sheep of Appleseed Racing for a long time. Like we said, that 146 race winless streak, and he has had chances, but has not been able to put it together. Have seen a lot of parity this season. He's running well so far as we have reached the final lap in stage number 1. Could today be the day he finally puts it together? Started on the pole position in yesterday's race on the Roval. Gave up the race lead to Danny Fallington on the opening lap, and it looks like he might give up the race lead. The 58 of Logan Alexander. Side by side, down the back straightaway. Alexander with a run. Same thing with Collins as he's gotten around the 23 of Hubert. Logan Alexander looks like he's going to lead 1 lap in this stage. Trying to stave off the crossover was Sampson. Not able to get there in time, and coming off of turns 3 and 4. Green and white checkered flag in the air. It'll go to Logan Alexander. Your Nashville winner will win stage number 1. Chase drivers getting some stage points. Matthew Hubert, Bradley Ream, and I believe Brandon Wilmington got the final stage point at the line. Sampson trying to stave a counterattack. It was actually Zachary Fitzwater who got that final stage point. It's not what you want if you're Brennan Wilmington. He's trying to tread some water and get back inside this top 10, but we've got a lot of drivers on top of one another for this top 5. Alexander, Sampson, Collins, Hubert, and Barreto, the top 5. Barreto underneath of Hubert trying to advance his spot, and that's going to allow for a little bit of a gap for Bradley Ream to try and take it away. Up the racetrack goes Hubert. He's marred on the outside. Here comes Ream, trying to become the highest running chase driver on the pylon. Those two side by side, they know that every point is valuable, especially Campbell Marsh stabling his running spot right now. Running back in 23rd, so he has fallen 13 spots on the pylon after starting in 10th. One of the cars on the outside lane. Corey Case has risen up quite a few spots in the 63, currently running in 26th. One of the 6 drivers to start outside of the top 35. Started all the way back in 39th. So right now, the biggest mover on track is Corey Case, your Texas World winner, as he moves underneath of Owen Miles. Toby Murphy making some headway along with Michael Lewis. Lewis trying to punch a hole right behind that 20 car. Go down below that solid white line. There's no out of bounds here at Denver, despite being technically a super speedway in terms of length, as it's over 2 miles long here, 2.28 to be exact. So it's technically a super speedway by law, but it races more like a flat intermediate like we'd see at Milwaukee. Heck, even a little bit. I'd say there's a combination of Milwaukee or Kansas in terms of how racy it gets at the front end of this field. It's already got 6 laps to go. This next time by in stage number 2, and only 36 laps on this race. This is going to be a very fast race for these drivers. 42-second lap times, and typically around this time, around the end of what will be stage number 2. So around lap 20 is where we typically see our opening yellow flag of the event. It's 2/3 of the Pacific Racing team towards the tail end of the field. We alluded to this yesterday. Perez will go underneath of Caleb Rose, but it seems like these 3 Pacific Racing cars can never be on the same sheet of music as Brandon Wilmington trying to get back inside the top 10. Seems like he is not able to be on the same sheet of music as both the 92 and the 32. We're seeing it here as Wilmington's got the oval set up cooking. Almost 2 other cars on that PR team have not been able to figure things out. They're missing out on some valuable stage points. How about NS Racing? Got all 3 of their cars inside the top 15. 2 of them were able to get some stage points. They've had a fairly decent year for their standards. 2 wins for that team. Nathan Stapleton at Armory Digital and Zachary Fitzwater at Chicagoland. Michael Lewis still looking for his first win of his NBCS career. Right now running in 9th. So all 3 PR cars inside of the top 10 right now. 4 to go in stage number 2. Bradley Ream has slipped back just a little ways away. He is now back in 4th. Will fall into the clutches of the 71 of Collins. And Igor Barreto looking to snap a 50-race winless streak. Trying to make his way up for 2nd. A little bit tight going through 1 and 2, and that's going to allow Logan Alexander to continue to drive away from Cole Sampson in that 5 car. But again, we're about 5 laps away from the pit window opening up here. Lap 17, already approaching the midway point through this race. Up the racetrack goes Barreto. And not able to get around that 5 car just quite in time. Toby Murphy nearly gets into the outside wall. That's going to open a gap for both Hubert and Fitzwater. Hubert trying to tandem draft with Fitzwater. And he's going to knife his way through both the 20 and the 99. He's going to get stuck in the outside lane, and all that momentum and progress is going to be for naught. He might fall outside of the top 10. Ooh, contact between him and Nathan Stapleton, and Stapleton is on his side. That's right in front of the rest of the field. Elijah Gordon back up the track, and the caution flag flies early. Yellow flag is on the speedway, and we saw that happen live as the field will race things back. Matthew Hubert's got to be very careful coming back to the caution flag, but these 2 drivers were fighting for the 8th spot on the grid. And fortunately, the rest of the field did not get piled up into that one, but that could have been absolutely brutal. Our first yellow flag in 2 races. Coming out on the back straight away as Matthew Hubert got tangled up with Nathan Stapleton. And Nathan Stapleton going for a wild ride, spinning on his side like he was on a cardboard box. He was able to drive away from the accident scene. Elijah Gordon was the 3rd car involved in that accident. And it looks like Gordon sustained the most damage of that trio. But of course, the most integral car involved was Matthew Hubert's Zevia Ford Fusion. And this was right at the end of stage number 1. Stage number 2, I should say. With 18 laps to go, these drivers will be able to make it on fuel. Logan Alexander will lead this 42-car field down the pit area for what should be the only pit sequence of the afternoon. We're hearing from the tower that since everybody came down before the end of stage number 2, it looks like it's just going to be a gas and go. The 58. We're going to see a lot of drivers with gas and goes here. Alex Lozano moving up quite a few spots on the pit lane. He was running in 15th. He'll move up to 3rd. Alexander Rowe also taking a gas and go in the 84. Bruno Diacomo, Owen Miles, Cole Sampson, who I believe just took 2 tires. Oh my goodness. Well, the strategy certainly coming to play. A lot of extended repairs on both the 23 and the 97 cars, but they should be able to make it off of the pit lane and be nice and orderly. Should be able to return to the racing surface. That's some rear end damage on the back end of the 34. It is, and Corey Case ran into the back of Dano Georgi on the pit lane. And that is significant damage on the front end of that Agais Toyota Camry, and that might be the end of the afternoon for Corey Case. And Zachary Fitzwater also with front end damage on the 99. So he's going to have to come down the pit lane. Well, we've got a lot to review here. But Logan Alexander, a splash and go in the 58, will win the race off of the pit lane. I don't think he's going to be able to make it to the end. But we're going to go ahead and take a look and see what happened to put us under the caution flag for the first time this afternoon. A 3-car incident off of turn number 2 involving one of the chase drivers inside the top 5. We'll take a look and see what happened here. Bring up the first caution to South Park 400. So Nathan Stapleton slides up the racetrack out of turn 2, and he's going to make some contact with the 23 of Hubert. Stapleton way out of control at this point. He's going to slide up into the 23, and they're both hard into the outside wall. And watch that 97 car fly up onto his side for a brief moment, and nowhere to go for Elijah Gordon. And fortunately enough, those were the only 3 that were majorly involved. I think they're the only 3 that were involved at all. As Gordon goes back up the track, he's able to regain control out of that Toyota Camry. 2 Fords and a Toyota caught up in this accident. Everybody was able to drive away from the accident scene, and everybody was able to go back onto the racetrack without any sort of incident, without anybody going behind the wall. So incredibly enough, all 3 cars will continue to race, but that was indeed a wild ride for Nathan Stapleton. We'll take another look at it. Nathan Stapleton slides up the racetrack into Matthew Hubert, goes onto his side, collects Elijah Gordon. Only 3 cars involved in this accident here for the opening caution of the afternoon. We did see quite some split strategy on the pit lane here. A couple of cars doing gas and goes. Not sure if I agree with that personally, but Logan Alexander retains the race lead. So we'll go back to the green flag here in just a couple of moments here at the Denver Motorsports Park. And we're back here at the Denver Motorsports Park cleaning up our first caution of the afternoon. Nobody was knocked out from that crash right at the end of stage number 2. A couple of cars missing some front ends. Nathan Stapleton's car, the 99 of Zachary Fitzwater and the 63 of Corey Case, having their issues on the pit lane. Top 5 cars took gas and go here right on the restart of this race. Logan Alexander on a gas and go, splash and go I should say, sees the green flag coming back out into the air. 16 laps to go here in this contest. With 15 laps to go in this race, it is going to be all or nothing. Here comes the inside of that number 58 car. The 84. It's the Alexander and Alexander show here coming off of turn 2. 14 laps to go. Alexander to the inside of the 58 car, and here comes the 11. But again, these guys all took no tires. Those 4 fresh Hoosier tires that everybody else took are going to come into play as Owen Miles nearly got railroaded by Igor Barreto. And everybody from the 5 on back took 4 tires. Logan Williams was one of the cars that took a splash and go. Only 4 wide, nearly 5 wide going into turn 1. It's the Oklahoma Land Rush here in Aurora, Colorado. Was a little bit of a sideswipe there between Owen Miles and I believe that was Rogel Dorn that was getting aggressive. Alexander rode to the race lead, but here comes Bradley Ream looking for that 4th win of the season. He is going to split the 58 car. And Cole Sampson on the outside lane with 4 fresh Hoosiers. He is going to go to the outside to the race lead. Sampson back out front with 12 laps to go in this race, and he is out like a rocket. And this mess back in here, that is a lot of chase drivers in the middle of a 3 and 4 wide situation. Roberto Crown Jr. tracks up the racetrack. Still 4 wide. Everybody able to keep it straight. Trying to see where Matthew Hubert is, and he is just still able to gain some spots in that 23 car. Campbell Marsh in comparison in the 31 on the outside lane. A big checkup back in here. Dano Georgi nearly up into Michael Lewis. Everybody somehow able to keep their automobiles straight. It's a 3-car battle for the race lead. 11 laps to go. Five of Cole Sampson. Looking pretty strong right now in that DeWalt Tools number 5 car. But it is just a land rush back in here. 3 and 4 wide down the back straightaway. A little bit of ping-ponging there with a 38 and the 86 of the American Motorsports cars nearly collide. Bruno Giacomo falling back. That's right in front of the 31 of Marsh. Now the 11, Alex Lozano trying to duck down the pit lane. He is out of gas, and that stacks up the entire field. We're 6 wide down the front straightaway practically. Oh my lord, this can only end in disaster. Reggie Fogelman nearly got punted out of the way. Matthew Hubert is going to lose a ton of time on the outside lane. 5 wide off of turn number 2. Somehow the whole field will remain straight. But Alex Lozano's gambit is not going to pay off. It only paid off to get stage points. And now how does that track for everybody else? It looks like the 58 and the 84 are also going to come down the pit lane. Same thing with Bruno Giacomo. Again, these guys took gas and go for stage points, and it's not going to pay out for Alex Lozano. It's one of the 6 cars that only took a splash and go. He will go a lap down. Now Bradley Ream, the highest driver in the chase, running in second. Trying to spoil the party with 9 laps to go for Cole Sampson. Sampson under fire from both Ream and Barretto. Ream has got 3 wins on the season. It's been 51 races since Igor Barretto has been to victory lane. It has been a whole 5 years for the 5 car. 8 laps to go. And Toby Murphy, who, despite getting run into on the pit lane, is still going to be in contention for a solid top 5 finish. Rogel Dorn looking for his 2nd win of the season. Everybody else will come off of the pit lane. Everybody that pitted there for just a splash and go on what will be the only pit stop of the race. Trying to merge back up into traffic is Alexander Rowe, and he nearly merged up right in front of Ryan Durrani. Durrani had to tap the brakes for just a brief moment. There's a look at Danny Fallington. A good recovery for Fallington for starting this race deep in the field. And yesterday's winner doesn't look like he's going to get the win. Right now, running in 10th. Still quite a ways away from this 3-car battle for the lead. Now the caution flag is out. Yellow out is out on the speedway. Esteban Lasserre and Eric Monaco have gone around off of turn number 4. And this is going to re-rack everybody, and Esteban Lasserre's terrible, horrible, no good, very bad chase continues. As Cole Sampson will lead the field back to the start-finish line, the 2nd caution of the afternoon coming out. And do the race leaders elect to come down the pit lane here with 6 laps to go? I would gauge track position would be a lot more important at this point in the race. As Lasserre has retired from the contest, he will be the first car knocked out of this race, and that was a lot of heavy damage on both the 4 and the 64 cars. This is going to give everybody one more shot getting a solid finish, but here we go. The moment of truth. Does the field stay out on the racetrack? And the answer to that question, a resounding yes. Does anybody roll the dice to come down the pit lane? It looks like the answer to that question will be a no. Track position at this stage in the race is a heck of a lot more important. You can make it on fuel. And everybody is good to the go. We're going to get this race restarted probably with about 3 laps to go. But man, oh man, that was the last thing that Cole Sampson wanted to hear, was the caution flag coming out. He has got a hungry Bradley Ream right behind him, and same thing with Brandon Wilmington in the 62. Wilmington is nearly 3 races worth of points behind Campbell Marsh, and Marsh right now running in 16th. Not as deep in the field as he was. His deepest point was about 25th. But right now, Cole Sampson running the race of his life right now in that 5 car, just trying to end the drought with under 5 laps to go when we get restarted. We'll go ahead and take a look and see what happened to put us under the caution flag for the second time today. A late race accident involving Esteban Lasserre and Eric Monaco here late in the South Park 400. So Riley Sampson is going to go up the racetrack and tag the left rear quarter panel of Esteban Lasserre just enough to where that's going to turn that Schweppes number 64 to the inside. Roberto Crown Jr. also caught up in this accident as well, and Lasserre is going to slide down the racetrack. What goes down has to come back up. Riley Sampson out of control in the 24, and does he involve anybody else? Nearly got run over there by the 3 of Reggie Fogelman and put Angel Gutierrez into the outside wall. And here comes Eric Monaco. Nowhere to go for that Pennzoil Monte Carlo, and punches that 64 car right into the mouth. Matthew Hubert and Elijah Gordon splitting the gap between those 2 cars, and a heavy shot for your Atlanta winner, running right into the side of your Hillside winner. And the terrible and horrible chase that Esteban Lasserre has endured continues here, and he was right at the bottom of the points standings, 339 points away from Campbell Marsh coming into today's race, and that deficit likely going to be about 500 points after today. We'll take another look at it. Another look following with Esteban Lasserre. Fortunately, the 21 and the 24 were able to continue his. Still can't get over Riley Sampson, nearly getting railroaded by Reggie Fogelman. That 4 car completely junked right in front of the flag stand, and both those cars will likely go behind the garage wall. But Cole Sampson, retaining the race lead, is going to get this race lead. Rather, we're going to get this race restarted probably with about 2 or 3 laps to go. Grab your 6-shooters, boys and girls. We're ready for a shootout. And we are back at the Denver Motorsports Park, getting ready for what is essentially a green-white checkered finish here at DMP in the South Park 400. Eric Monaco and Esteban Lasserre have pulled their cars behind the pit wall. They're the only automobiles knocked out of this race. It'll be 2 laps to go once the field will cross the start-finish line. And here's the rub right now. Cole Sampson, the race leader in the 5 car, looking to snap a 146 race winless streak. Bradley Ream looking for his 4th win of the season. Igor Barreto, Rogel Dorn, and Toby Murphy will round out your top 5. It'll be a 2-lap dash to the end. It's a Chevy Silverado pace truck down the pit area. 2 laps to go here at the Denver Motorsports Park. Through the Reese's restart zone rumbles the field. Green flag is out and away. And here we go. Sticks high in the air. 2 laps to go. And a great restart for Cole Sampson. It's out like a rocket. And Bradley Ream did not get a good start in comparison. Was able to grab a really good gear there through turns 1 and 2. Field stacking up in the back, and now a big run down the back straightaway for Bradley Ream. He's right on the back end of Cole Sampson. Sampson throws the block on the inside. Is he going to be able to hold that corner as here comes Rogel Dorn. Ream down to the inside of the 5. Off turns 3 and 4 for the second to final time. White flag is out. One more time around the Denver Motorsports Park. Can Cole Sampson pedal to the end? Couple more cars coming back down the pit lane. One of them was Braden Perez. We'll talk about that later. Bradley Ream looking for win number 4 of the season, and Cole Sampson praying that the drought ends today. Ream is going to have one final shot through turns 3 and 4, but he might be fighting a two-front battle. Igor Barreto on the back end of the 2 car. Is it going to be enough? Ream trying to throw it down to the inside. Is he going to have enough time to get a run off turns 3 and 4? Checkered flag is in the air, and the 146 race wait is over. Cole Sampson, for the first time in 5 years, puts the 5 car in Gatorade victory lane. For the first time since September 11th, 2020, Cole Sampson is back in victory lane. He wins the South Park 400 presented by Denver Mattress. And he had to hold off a hard-charging Bradley Ream to do so. Ream right on the back end of that 5 car. Igor Barreto will finish in 3rd, and how about Toby Murphy, a completely damaged number 20 car, finishing in 5th. But how about that for Cole Sampson, getting the job done and seeing where the 31 car of Campbell Marsh finished 16th. It'll be quite a few points for Bradley Ream, but a couple of drivers came back down the pit lane. One of them was Braden Perez, who ended up finishing in 32nd. What a race, and what a finish, and what a result. Cole Sampson becomes the 3rd driver, finally, for Appleseed Racing to win a race. It is the first time in team history Appleseed Racing has had all 3 of their cars win a race. And Cole Sampson had to beat one of the best to do so as your top 5 are Cole Sampson, Bradley Ream, Igor Barreto, Rogel Dorn, and Toby Murphy. Michael Lewis, Matt Wolf, Brandon Wilmington, Ryan Durrani, and Juan Rodriguez, the top 10. Only 2 cars failed to finish this race. 34 cars finished on the lead lap. Matthew Hubert, the last car on the lead lap. Braden Perez was 32nd. And that is, with a last place finish for Esteban Lacer, that is essentially going to take him out of the title contention. In these final 5 races, Caleb Rose was able to get up to a top 20 finish in that 19 car, as you see Campbell Marsh in 16th, so Rose will lose a little bit more time. Angel Gutierrez is going to lose a lot of time to Campbell Marsh. Same thing with Riley Sampson and Braden Perez. And I think, after this race, this might end up being Campbell Marsh's championship to lose. We do have 5 more races, so it's not over until the checkered flag falls at New Jersey. But a very, it's not, I wouldn't call it a weird race, but it was certainly a race of all time. And Cole Sampson, for the first time in over 5 years, finally wins a race. He started on the pole yesterday to start the weekend, and he ends on the top podium here this afternoon. And it has been just a trying and tribulation. It's just been a career of trying and tribulation for Cole Sampson, but he was able to get the job done here at the Denver Motorsports Park in the second race of the Casa Bonita Denver Double. Quick check of where all the chase drivers finished. The 2-car Bradley Ream will finish in 2nd. Brandon Wilmington finishes in 8th. Campbell Marsh finishes in 16th. Caleb Rose 19th. Angel Gutierrez in 26th. Riley Sampson 28th. Corey Case 29th after having the entire front end of that car ripped to shreds. Braden Perez will finish in 32nd. Matthew Hubert 34th. Alex Lozano 35th, but he did get quite a few stage points, and Esteban Lacer finishes in 42nd spot, and Carson Miller finishes in 14th as well. Forgot to mention his name in that rundown. But that's going to do it here from the Denver Motorsports Park. Congratulations once again to Cole Sampson for winning the South Park 400 presented by Denver Mattress. We're going to take a 2-week break, and after a fortnight of non-action. We'll be saying hello to Wisconsin once again. The back half of the chase for the Cup starts at the Milwaukee Mile. Coverage starting at 8 p.m. for the Harley-Davidson American 400 on Saturday, October 4th, right here on the NESRN. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, ladies and gentlemen. Here are your point standings and chase grid after race 31 of the 2025 MVCS season. And from Aurora, Colorado, on behalf of the North American Sim Racing Network, my name is Trey Wright. Have a great evening, folks. We'll see you in 2 weeks in Milwaukee.